Mike Harris with What in the Law podcast is back. Last week I talked a bit about harassment. Today I'm going to talk about what often goes with that, assaults. Now, in Colorado, there are 3 degrees of what is called an assault. However, it's even more complicated than that. Because in Colorado, first of all, each of those degrees have multiple different ways they can be committed, and in some cases, different penalties. Plus, we have other similar offenses, including menacing, which is a threat of causing an imminent serious bodily injury or death to someone, which can be broken up into different categories based on whether or not there's a weapon involved. Plus, we have similar offenses such as attempted murder, or if that assault results in an actual death, a manslaughter or type of murder. For today, I'm going to talk about the more minor levels, relatively speaking, of assaults, starting with the 3rd degree assault. A 3rd degree assault is a misdemeanor level, which is basically knowingly or recklessly causing any type of injury to another person. Injury does not have to be something that leaves a mark or causes severe pain. It basically is any type of pain or something that could be more serious. So even a slap in the face could potentially be enough to qualify for a 3rd degree assault. And 3rd degree assaults do not have to be intentional. However, they do have to be either knowingly, meaning you knew what you were doing, or recklessly causing that injury. Now, there are some more complicated type of misdemeanor assaults involving culpable negligence and weapons, but I'm going to leave those for a different discussion because they just are not as common. Now, another common type of misdemeanor level similar to the assault in Colorado is menacing. Menacing, as I mentioned before, is a threat. It is threatening someone with a serious bodily injury or death. However, that threat has to be an imminent threat, and that is very important. It cannot just be jesting or going to do something in the future. Now, there may be some other offense that was committed involving other types of threats, but that's what the menacing level is. And if there is no weapon involved, it's basically a misdemeanor. If there is a weapon involved, that can rise to a felony. So, for example, pulling a knife or pulling a gun on someone normally would be a felony level menacing. Now, since we're up to the felony level, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the more common felony level assaults at the, relatively speaking, less severe. Still very severe, but not leading to the death type of things that we were talking about. There's basically 3 types of felony level assaults that we see on a routine basis. One of those is choking or restricting the passageway of air through someone. That can often be highly contentious because medical evidence may or may not be helpful in those situations, but they are very serious because they can lead to that more serious result, namely of someone dying. So they are treated very seriously and are considered felony level, but are often something that are often fought about, sometimes are reduced to misdemeanors because of that. The other common type of felony level we see is a serious bodily injury assault. That basically means the bodily injury was more severe and was considered serious, namely having either a break, fracture, or prolonged or permanent loss of a bodily function or serious personal disfigurement. The other type of common felony level assault we see is when there's a weapon involved. Whether or not there results in a serious level injury, using a weapon makes an assault a felony. Now, having both a weapon and a serious bodily injury makes it even a more serious level. Now, this is by no means all of the types of assaults. There are other ways that what are normally misdemeanor assaults can be enhanced to felony level assaults, such as assaults on police officers or other emergency personnel, and many other things. But that's a little bit of what we often see. And so see you next time on What in the Law podcast.